So this is a cold one with Corey and Carlisle. And if you don't know already, this is simply a free-form conversation recording session where Carlisle and I, we sit down, we have a six-pack of beer, and we talk about things that happened the previous week before. Now, these are more like audio podcasts, which means that they're longer than our video reviews, and they're also unedited. So if you're offended by the foul language, you might not want to listen. But if you aren't, then sit back, hang out with us, and we hope you enjoy. Thanks. It's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and the Silver Surfer, who I used to call the Bronze Surfer, but only because he's not very silver. Because I didn't know you. A lot of people don't know you. You are a black man.
Am I? I didn't know that.
I'm going to tell you you are. Yes, I'm telling you are. You don't believe me? Look in the mirror now. You're gonna look in the mirror and be like, damn, I am black. What the fuck? No, because everybody on the site. Well, look, at least me. I know I'm kind of profiling your picture on the site, which is a Silver Surfer. I'm thinking, oh, this is a white kid. This is a white 17-year-old kid. Turns out you're like you're grown ass black man.
Surprise!
It's like somebody wielding a cake and you popped out of it. Surprise!
I'm probably losing all my friends now. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, everybody's like, he's black. Oh, I can't talk to him no more. Nah, it's I didn't mean to bust you like that, man. But I have to say, I was surprised. I was actually very surprised to see that. For you to tell me that, because I haven't really seen what you look like yet. But anyway, I want to welcome you to a couple of cold ones. I've been having some guest spots on every week, and it's your turn right now. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing fine. I hope I can live up to the standards of this high quality programming.
You give me more credit than I deserve. Ain't nothing quality about this.
No, this is a reason why this is the number one podcast on this site. I know other people trying to...
Because there's only two of them.
Knock you down to that number one spot. I heard they podcast yesterday. They trying to knock you down, but it ain't working like that.
Okay, there's only two podcasts on here. It ain't hard to do. It ain't like... I mean, and this one was the first one. So, but hey, you know what? I'll take what I can get. So anyway, now you know how this show goes. We take...
Yes.
Okay, at the beginning of the show, we do the top 5 for the week. Then we get into some subjects in the middle of the show. And then we go on to read some email. And we just kind of bullshit through the whole thing. We just kind of see how things go. I mean, a lot of people say, man, you get into a lot of non sequiturs and you go into like a lot of long tangents. I mean, it's supposed to be a conversation. I mean, we got a format, but I just like talking to people. And that's going to happen here.
It's good.
Yeah, okay. Just letting you know.
Listen, I got to be honest before we get into this. I'm not really an internet person, but for some reason, this site just... It speaks to me. It does. You've done good work.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And I think one of the reasons why this site works is because of stuff like this. I mean, we're just average guys talking about stuff like average people do. I'm not trying to come across as a professional. This is me. You get me, okay? God damn it, this is me. So, I really appreciate everybody on the site who comes, and I appreciate you, Surfer. That's why it's my pleasure to have you here. So, with that said, enough stroking my own self, enough kissing ass and all that kind of stuff. So, let's go ahead and get into the top 5. Now, I have people saying this. Carlisle started this whole tradition of people saying the number. So, you are going to do this too, whether you like it or not.
All right.
So, we're going to start out with number 5. Go ahead and give it to me.
Number 5.
You sound like you was singing some Russian song. Number 5. Okay, very good. I felt that. Okay, number 5 was Traitor with Don Cheadle, and this was sort of a espionage action thriller where he plays a guy. The reason why they call it Traitor is because we don't know what side he's on. He could be an American working for the CIA.
He's a double agent.
He's a double agent. He could be working for America, or he could actually be working for a Muslim organization trying to pull off one of the biggest jihads since 9/11. That was a good movie too. I have to admit.
I stayed on the edge of my seat like the whole time. You was like, you didn't know, and you thought it was going to end tragic, you know.
Well, that's the thing about the movie. And if you heard our review, it's a slow movie, but once they show you where everything goes and they give you this great ending, then it's like, okay, not every movie needs to be fast paced or just quick cuts and whatnot. I mean, some movies need to be methodical and take their time, especially if they give you a payoff.
They did miss out. Like, it was a couple scenes where he kicked a couple people's asses. It was like, I wanted to see more of that. You know, I thought he was the commercials say this year's Bourne Identity. But so I thought he was going to be like kicking people in their faces throughout the movie. But no, it's a real good thriller.
Yeah, it was almost like the commercial told you, Don Cheadle, this Negro is going to be this season's Black Jason Bourne. And I'm like, so that's what I was kind of expecting. So you're right. When I saw the movie, I was like, well, I'm not getting the full action like the Bourne Identity. But once I saw what they were doing, I said, you know what? It's not just enough for them to be an action film. This is sort of a smart action film. It's a very well written story, if you don't mind waiting. So I'm just glad the movie came in number 5 because I didn't actually think it was going to do that well.
And it doesn't preach to you as to like who's right or who's wrong as far as this whole, war on terror and stuff. It don't try to knock you over the head like good guys, bad guys. It lets you decide like where who this guy is as you see the plots.
Well, the cool thing about the movie is that they didn't look down on Islam, the Muslim religion. I mean, I'm one of those guys who look. People already know right now. I'm an atheist. I don't have any preference towards any religion, but I think all religions should be respected equally. And this movie, for a mainstream movie that does that, I was thinking that's pretty good because you have an action hero who is pretty much a Muslim, and they actually treated that with respect. So anyway, I thought that's a lot of good reasons why this movie I think should be probably even more successful than it was being in the top 5. But I'm happy it is where it is. Anyway, let's go on to that's your cue, by the way, to saying number.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Number 4, that cool, refreshing drink.
I like that. You added more to it. You brought the soul in, and then you said, "Hey, I'm gonna add my own lyrics to it." Sound like you're going on a roller coaster ride with that number 4. Anyway, number 4 is a movie that was actually number 2 last week, which is The House Bunny, which has fine ass Anna Faris. Starring as a Playboy bunny who gets kicked out of the mansion and goes into the real world. Oh, I forgot to mention that Trader made $7.9 million for its debut. I don't know how good that is, but I mean.
Well, it's not playing in as many theaters as some of these other movies are, but so that probably played into how much it made. You got if you're not in 3,000 theaters or more.
Yeah, you're just not going to rake it in.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so The House Bunny, on the other hand, made $8.3 million with a cumulative gross so far of 27.9. So that movie actually did, man, the House Bunny did a lot better than I thought it would. That's a movie that I thought was just going to be considered a piece of shit, get buried in like maybe come in at number 10, 11, and it actually did pretty well. And actually, when I saw the movie, I said, hey, I think it's kind of funny too.
Yeah, and that girl must have did a lot of Pilates to get that kind of shape. To do that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. One of the main reasons I like this movie is just looking at Anna Faris's ass, and I mean the girl is hot. All right, I don't know what she did.
Now we gotta disagree. Even though she looked good, I thought her ass was kind of flat. But
I don't ask for much these days, but apparently so. But all I'm looking at is that she there's one scene where she has a towel around her waist, and you saw a little bit of her ass crack, and it looks like she's got a little bit of a bump there for the towel to rest up on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to bend her over and iron my shirt on her or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? She's got a little something. But I mean, you asked me earlier. You said, did she get some work done? And I have to admit, going back and looking at those scary movies, the 2 that she was in. I was like, yeah, dude. She looks different. It could be the hair. She looked
more plain in those movies. Now it's like either they slapped a ton of makeup on her or she got something done. Because she was looking a lot prettier than not that she didn't look good before, but.
No. As a matter of fact, I mean, she looked perfectly fine. She looked like that kind of girl that wasn't over glamorized, and she was perfectly fine. But I'm just wondering, somebody tell me, did she get a nose job or something? I mean. I don't know. Like I said, it could just be the bleached hair or something. I don't know. But anyway, the girl is hot, and I'm just because of that, being the shallow person that I am, I'm glad that the movie came in number 4 and has had somewhat of a semi-successful run. All right, so that brings.
What are the nerdy girls look hot?
What? The nerdy girls in the movie. Yeah. Once they turned them all into hot girls, I thought that they were all hot. Even that big old lumberjack looking bitch, I thought they all looked kind of good. But like I said, I don't have so much these days. Yeah, you could put, as a matter, speaking of lumberjacks, you could put a wig on a piece of log, and I'd be like, man, that girl is hot right there. So I'm just saying, let's go ahead and move on to number
3.
There you go. There you go. That's the first time we actually had somebody scratch it. I like that. I like that little extra, that little creativity you brought to it. And the number 3 movie, of course, is The Dark Knight.
Which finally hit that 500 million plateau.
Last week and you know what? It was number 4 last week, but it moved up again to number 3. Brought in $8.8 million last week, but it's at the point now where it has a total gross of $502.4 million, making it not bringing in inflation, making it the second highest grossing movie in Hollywood history.
Domestically.
Domestically, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
So, and what can we say about it? We said this every week. It's not going to beat Titanic. Titanic had a bunch of girls apparently with rich parents, and they went to see that movie over and over again.
Wow.
And it was a different period too when Titanic was released. Different business model.
Well, Titanic lasted 4 months in the theater, and movies today, it's 6 months and you're out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
one.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This one will probably last a little longer than the average movie, but most movies like Iron Man, it was gone. Like that opened like early May, mid-June, it was gone.
Yeah. No, and that's we got, like I said, we got to look at the business model. I mean, movies, you're right. When they come in, they're gone pretty quick. Right now we had, like, I think earlier you told me that E.T. lasted something like 9 years in the theater.
21 weeks.
21 weeks.
That's the record. 21 weeks at number 1.
Nice. And so, but we're not going to see that again these days because we have home distribution for movies that make them go away pretty quick because people want to make that money on DVD. I think even at the time we didn't have the quick home home distribution turnaround for movies like we do now. So yeah, it's a different time. It's going to make it hard to beat any kind of record out there, much less something like Titanic. So, but hey, Batman did very well. Good for that movie. Happy to see it do the business that it did.
I heard a rumor.
What?
That, Batman's supposed to get re-released around the award season. They're thinking that this movie's going to get some nominations. So that might be the opportunity then to push this past Titanic.
Hey, where did you hear that rumor?
I was reading. No, I think I saw it on dailies.
Oh, okay. That would be, man. That wouldn't be a smart. That would be a smart thing. I mean, they've made so much money. Can you imagine pulling it out of theaters? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they could do something to make people want to go back to the theater and see it. Maybe they could add an extra scene or two and say, hey, this is the cut you haven't seen before. Only in theaters. Go see The Dark Knight. But then again, that might be considered a different movie if they do that. So, but who knows, man? I mean, I think that would be a smart thing, especially around Oscar time, since they want Heath Ledger to get a posthumous Academy Award, at least Academy Award nomination. And some people even saying he'll win. So let's go ahead and move on to...
Okay, how I'm going to do this?
Take your time, please. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Do it right. I can wait. I'm gonna just...
Number 2.
Damn, somebody push you off a cliff? Number 2. I was expecting to hear like, number 2. But
what's number 2? Riddick AD?
I believe number 2 is Babylon AD. That's my Vin Diesel impression. Vin Diesel is back with another science fiction movie where he plays a badass. Yeah, this is almost like Riddick, man. I mean, come on. Except he ain't wearing shades in this. So it's that brought in $9.7 million, and that's for its debut. The movie had a budget of $70 million. So I'm gonna safely say. I'm going to say this, that it was a sort of a box office failure.
Now, you think this movie was just dumb, right?
Yeah, I think it was dumped. It's August, and it was just dumped.
I don't understand it, because with the strike they had, there's going to be like a big gap of missing movies next year. And they couldn't find a spot for it next year where maybe people would say, oh, okay, let me go see it.
I don't know. I mean, of course they had that whole look. Everybody's talking about how Fox doesn't. They're not exactly the smartest company in the world. And then we have this whole thing of the director talking about Babylon AD, how he's disappointed with the cut of the movie. There's some stuff missing. And
I never saw a director ever do that before a movie came out. It stinks.
I know. You're talking about my movie. It's like, man, this is my movie. I'm telling you, don't go see that shit.
Even you never see Uwe Boll come out and say my movies are terrible. He'd be like, man, I'm the best filmmaker out there. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Of course, Uwe Boll come out. Uwe Boll is the notorious video game director who people can't stand. But Uwe Boll would just say, I don't give a fuck if you don't like me. He came out in a video and just said, I'm the fucking genius. And I was like, okay, if you come out that strong and say so, I guess you are, sir. You got it. But no, this director came out and said, yeah, Babylon AD, I did it. I'm very satisfied with working with Fox. I don't like the movie, and he said, I'm disappointed with the cut. So look, it probably had a lot of controversy behind it. They just said, let's just go ahead.
Somebody at Fox was just made this motherfucker mad. He probably said, fuck this. I ain't promoting shit for y'all motherfuckers. You and your own.
Yeah, somebody didn't put the red M&Ms in his bowl or something. I mean, yeah, he's mad. I mean, he probably, and see, 20th Century Fox, this is probably one of the smart things that they did. They probably just said, you know something, dump this motherfucker right now. We don't want to deal with it. This director don't like it, and we ain't crazy about it. Just get on out of here. So they just probably dumped the movie. I mean, it's Labor Day weekend. You said yourself a little bit earlier that people should be they're out doing recreational things at the beach, doing things out in the sun. So hey.
Oh, yeah, you gotta get that holiday in before school starts, and
people evacuating hurricanes. You know what I mean? So ain't nobody worried about a movie.
Man, I'm praying for those people. You get affected by hurricanes where you at?
No. You know what? Tell you what. We'll talk about this after we get through with the top 5 here. But no, we're not yet. But thank you for asking. But I do want to address that. And then, okay. Speaking of finishing this up, give me the last one. You can do this.
Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Number one. One.
Is that the echo? Nice. Perfect, man. All right. So number 1 is, of course, Tropic Thunder for the 3rd week in a row. We've had some movies that have lasted, been number 1 for a few weeks. Iron Man. We've had, as we said, Batman, of course, The Dark Knight, and now we have Tropic Thunder. A lot of people thought the movie was going to be successful, and I'm not saying it's doing super, uber, crazy business, but I don't know if everybody thought it would be number 1 for 3 weekends.
You know what? The funny thing with Tropic Thunder is, like, the last couple of weeks, it seemed like some other movie is going to outdo it. The Friday totals come out, and it'd be like 2nd or 3rd, and then you see Sunday's total, Tropic Thunder. It's like, man... People was like, okay, I've seen this other shit. I'm going back to Tropic Thunder.
Of course, man. Yeah, it's, it's...
I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude.
You told me that you were at first kind of upset about
No, I wasn't sure if I would be upset, because, hey, it's one thing if you're really authentic, but... I get the point with it. These motherfuckers weren't as great of actors they thought they were. So him not doing the Mr. Generic voice, it worked for this role. If he got made up and tried to do another movie like that, then I'd probably be mad.
So what you're saying is, if they cast Robert Downey Jr. as in The Color Purple or something like that, or Raising in the Sun, and we got a problem. but we got him in this movie. And you're right, it works because he's and he makes the movie. That's the thing. He makes the movie being a white actor who plays a black guy. It's an Australian playing a black guy, and it works because
he's supposed to be like the Russell Crowe.
Exactly.
that type.
He's supposed to be the Russell Crowe and intense actor. When he's not in blackface, he's out there starting fights with the press and whatnot. So, I mean, the reason why you're right, it works for him being in blackface, and the reason why this movie is not as offensive as it potentially could have been, because a lot of people were worried about them saying retard in the movie more than they were about him being in blackface. Well, you're right. They're oblivious actors in the movie. They're oblivious actors, and they're just doing stupid things to get a role. And this is one, and it's considered, oh, this white guy went and had a procedure to be black. That's kind of dumb, and they make reference to that in the movie.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but it said he got a surgical procedure.
No, that's in the trailer, man.
But then when he pulled off the wig, there was a regular skin showing through at the top around the hair, you know?
Well, I guess they didn't go that far up. I mean, maybe it was on a tan line or something. I don't know. But at first I thought you were going to say, but you mean they didn't sew that afro on his head too?
He was talking about I don't drop character until I do the DVD.
It was funny because you told me, was it you that told me that the reason why he did so well in that movie doing that character is because he watched his dad doing a black character, and I was like, what was it? Well, is Robert Downey Jr. I thought you were going to tell me it's Robert.
Voiceover.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
His father had to do a voiceover for a movie. The guy did the scene, but he kind of messed up his lines, so he voiced over his own voice. I don't know. They never said what movie it was, but he said he was imitating his father doing the same thing.
Okay. At first, I thought you were going to tell me that Robert Downey Jr. had a black father. I thought that's what you were trying to say to me. I was like, I didn't hear shit about that.
Maybe.
I ain't seen his dad, so who knows? All I know is
he looked too convincing once he had that makeup on. So you never know.
Well, look, all I'm saying is I laughed at that, and I'm just glad they didn't take it too far, because if Robert Downey Jr. had come on the scene with a bucket of Popeyes talking about, y'all saw, we's gonna make this Vietnam movie here now. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna burn this goddamn theater down. But they didn't do that. So I thought they'd handled the movie very well, and I'm glad the movie, it's a very hilarious movie, man. I'm glad to see it be as successful as it is. Like I said, it's pulled in so far $83.8 million. It'll hit the $100 million mark before it's over with, I'm thinking. So good for that movie. Now that's the top five. It's funny we're bringing up the Hurricane because somebody brought up a point, because we want to talk about, of course, the movie that wasn't in the top five, which is Disaster Movie. That was at number 7.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
That motherfucking goddamn movie! I walked the fuck out. I was like, I can't take this shit no more. This bullshit.
No.
Woo!
No, man. Oh, look, what can I say about the movie that hasn't been said already? Somebody made a point, though. Somebody said, was it really cool to release a movie called Disaster Movie, knowing how shitty the movie is, too, on a weekend when there's a hurricane about to hit? And I'm thinking, you know what?
That was scheduled way before they knew this hurricane was coming.
Oh, I know that. I'm not being silly. I know but I'm just thinking, couldn't they just said, hey, maybe we need to wait an extra weekend or something? The movie's shitty as it is. I mean, come on. I know that's.
They thought, well, we got a summer blockbuster. People are stupid. They'll go out and see it. And then just the same old jokes over and over in every time they do a movie.
Yeah.
It's breakdancing. It's Carmen Electra. It's little midgets.
Well, I'd see. Now that brings me to a point here, man. First of all, the movie didn't do that well. Now we're all cheering because the movie didn't do that well, but I don't think they did the smartest thing in the world. One of the smart things that 20th Century Fox does do with these movies is that they release them at a time when no one has any other movies out, or it's the only PG-13 movie that's really available. That wasn't the case with this. This was released, first of all, by Lionsgate, not 20th Century Fox. And second of all, there was another PG-13 movie that this was competing against, and that was Babylon AD. And as we see, Babylon AD stumped the shit out of this, even though, what the hell is that? It's like a horse trotting through there or something. What the fuck? But anyway, so as we can see that Lionsgate probably didn't use as smart of a tactic for releasing this movie.
I think they wanted to be like, I think they was thinking, usually we put this movie like a year later from all these references, but we're going to be on top of it this time. So we're going to put it out right when everybody, it's fresh in their mind, all these movies.
Yeah.
They can laugh at it.
Yeah, no, they gave us time to realize how good these movies are compared to the stupid shit that they do in this film. I mean, you put a goddamn Hancock reference in the movie. And what is it? Hancock flies into a light pole and hits his head. What kind of stupid shit is that you think people going to go out and see this movie in droves? I mean, come on, you gave us that joke in the trailer. You motherfucker. And the sad thing is, man, I really do think that these guys know what they're doing. I don't think they're idiots. I think that they know exactly what the game is. I think that they're thinking, look, we know this shit is stupid. The studios want us to do this quick. They want to make a snatch and grab money type movie. I mean, because that's what they call them, like a money grab movie. It just goes in the theater, grabs the money. It's a terrible movie that was probably shot in 2 weeks, and then they get out. And then nobody cares about any integrity at all. And I'm thinking these guys are not that dumb. They know exactly what they're doing. And I'm speaking of Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer, the director and so-called writers of this movie.
And the worst joke they put in that movie was the guy waking up talking about he got to take some Ambien, and that's a reference to Heath Ledger overdosing on sleeping pills.
Now
that's bullshit, if you ask me.
No, that is bullshit. But you really believe that? Because I didn't catch that. I remember the joke.
Yes, that's what they said. That he overdosed on sleeping pills. He was having trouble sleeping. He kept taking too many of them, and so out of nowhere, the guy talking about I got to take some Ambien. Some crap he said, and you see this big, huge, oversized jar of sleeping pills, Ambien on the side, and I got sleeping pills. It don't come in that size. So they was making fun of Heath Ledger dying from sleeping pills.
This isn't, you didn't read this anywhere. This is something that you picked up from that, because, I mean, is that true? You just caught that?
Yeah, I mean, that's trust me, that's what they was referring to. These motherfuckers think everything they write is funny. So somebody need to like see these motherfuckers walking down the street, like pull the van up, put the bags over their head, and just like dump them somewhere, Central America, and just say,
"Well, man,
enough!" Like Obama said Thursday, enough.
Well, the reason I have had enough of this bullshit. No, I think the reason why I didn't think they did that. I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want my neighbor beating up on the fucking wall. I think that they had a Batman joke in there, and I was expecting them to pull out the Joker, and they didn't. I mean, the Joker was such an easy target, but to me, it seemed like they shied away from that because, well, they didn't want to get to any controversy about disrespecting Heath Ledger. Well, but now you got me thinking.
You missed it, and nobody in the theater caught it too. While I was sitting there. Because it was one of those things, like, if you didn't realize what exactly he overdosed from, you wouldn't have caught that in the movie. You know, you just would have just said, oh, the joke that didn't work. And it didn't work, but...
Well, yeah, like any joke in that movie worked. None worked. But, that movie's a complete failure. But, I mean, that is pretty fucking insulting, man, if they did that. I mean, I hope that those guys had better sense than that. I mean, maybe it's one of those things where the ratings board missed it and said, we don't get it. I mean, maybe nobody even bothers to just look at this shit anymore. But that's really weird if they did that, especially if they didn't want to put a Joker reference in there, but they're going to make direct fun of somebody's death who's not even dead for a year. I mean, come on, man. I mean, so I don't know, man. I have to watch that again. I don't think these guys got enough balls to even try to do something like that.
I have to say there's one good thing about these shitty-ass movies that they make. At least you know they ain't writing scripts for, like, Dark Knight and Iron Man and shit. Like, could you imagine the news getting out? They doing Batman 3. They've been slated to do the script.
Okay.
You know how motherfucker...
I hear what you're saying. Now, I'm going to give these. If I was to just really desperately give these guys credit, I'm going to, and I have sort of a hopeful scenario in my head about Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer. I'm thinking that these guys are doing this for the money. They're trying to get and they got some super secret project in mind that is probably one of the greatest movie scripts out there. and they want to get this made, and they are paying their dues by doing this bullshit. And they're going to come out and later on even have an expose saying, yes, we knew we were doing these terrible movies. This is how the studio system worked. They were fucking us over. They were dicking us around. And this is the only way. We had to go. It's the equivalent of the stripper who has to do it for college money. You never meet that stripper, but you know it exists somewhere. The stripper that's smart enough to just strip for a little while and do it for college money. These guys are the stripper who just want to like whore themselves out for a little bit, and later on they're going to do great things. Now that's a scenario that I'm hoping.
You're so funny, Corey. What the fuck are you talking about?
hey, a fella can dream, can he? So anyway, that's my thing right there.
Well, I've been looking since we at the end of the summer. And I was looking at the top 5 movies from this summer and last summer.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, even though last summer made more money, made like $200 million more,
mm-hmm.
movies this summer was far superior than last summer. And I did like a few of the last summer movies, but when I look at crap like the Transformers, that just like that come on TV, and every time I see it, it just gets worse and worse. And you compare that to like Iron Man and Dark Knight and Wally and Hancock, it's like,
yeah, no, it's so. I mean, I'm thinking back now to last summer. I mean, they had what, Spider-Man 3 and Transformers and Shrek 3, and you know what? You're right, man. And Pirates of the Caribbean. And look, I gave all those movies a matinee rating. And my whole thing was saying they kind of get you because some of these movies are visual spectacles. They're pretty cool to see on the big screen, but they're not good movies. Even Transformers, I say, hey, it's a bunch of robots. Say what you will about how the Transformers look, because I thought they looked they look great, but I didn't think they looked like the Transformers that I would like to see on the screen. I thought those movies were all dumb, man. Especially something like Spider-Man 3. I was just like, hey, I was kind of entertained by some of the visual effects, but all these movies are equally dumb. But if you need to go see them at the theater because they're summer movies, then what are you going to do? That's what you have offered. But this summer, you're right, man. This summer we had stuff like you said, Iron Man. I would even put the Hulk in there. We had Batman. I mean, this was, and not to mention because of Batman, this was a very historical summer.
Hey, when I look at like Kung Fu Panda and Wally, it's like, I can't look at these lower quality animated movies anymore. Like ever since those two came out, it's like,
yeah,
I don't want Steak-'em no more. I want some steak sandwiches.
I hear you, brother.
When I was a little kid, Mom used to make the Steak-'em, and it was good. And then I started eating some real quality steak sandwiches, and like I cannot eat Steak-'em for shit. I mean, like, please get that fake meat away from me.
By the way, kids
I
out
live
there,
in Philadelphia.
Steak-'ems.
Steak sandwiches. It's a requirement eating.
By the way, what Surf is referring to is Steak-'ems, which were these. I believe Steak-'ems wasn't even real meat. Steak-'ems was like some processed meat, and they came in thin slices. And when you heated them up, it was like they say, now this is just like having a steak sandwich. It's like bullshit. This is not steak. This is a dog would eat this shit. And so what you're saying is you don't want Steak-'ems. You want a steak dinner. And that's what this summer was. Last summer was Steak-'ems. This summer is a steak dinner.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think next year, man, it's gonna be. People just think they're not gonna be happy by next year. I don't think there's gonna be many movies that's gonna hold up to the movies that came out this year.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm one of those people that like between like 82 and 84. It was like that was my years for movies.
Well, I'm thinking back to 90 to 99 where we had Fight Club and American Beauty. We even had cool animated stuff. You're gonna laugh at me, but I still think Tarzan was a pretty good film. I think you had something like Three Kings at the time. Movies that didn't even get that much attention where they were really good films. Some of your smaller movies were great. Your bigger movies were great.
You know what? I think I missed that year when it came to movies.
What do you mean? What, were you on Mars or something? What the hell you mean you missed that year?
I just weren't going to the movies much.
What happened to you? What you chained up in a basement? What do you mean?
I was working some long hours. And going to movies just wasn't in the picture.
Oh, okay, so you were broke doing that. Well, that's too bad because you missed out on a good year.
No, I was working on. You know what? I realize I go to the movies more when I'm broke than when I'm making money.
Okay, you might want to explain that to people because there's a lot of broke ass people out there right now. How the hell do you do that?
Hey, when I'm making money, I'm making money, and as long as I'm making money, that's what I think about. I'm focused on making money. If I got to work 10, 16 hours to make that money, I'm making that money. And 2 hours in the theater is taken away from me making money.
You sound like a rapper right now. When I'm making that money, I'm making that money. I'm making that bank. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm making that money. You still, you still explaining to me.
Get rich or die trying.
But sneak into the theater, die trying, and get your ass busted because that's what you do. You said I ask you a question. I say, how do you get into a theater when you're not making money? And you just drove the long way around that answer. I said,
no, it does seem like the more I work, the less I see movies. And like when I'm working average, I get time for movies. But when you putting in overtime and those paychecks are looking bigger and bigger, don't be thinking about going to movies.
Sir, it's just funny. I asked you, I said, how do you see movies when you're broke? Man, I make that money. I make that dollar, man. I don't do none of that stuff. When I'm making money, I'm making money. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the hell does it have to do with you going to see movies? So what you're saying is, okay, let me get this straight. When you're not making money, that means you have more time to probably go see movies, but you're not paying for them because you're getting the free tickets to go see them.
Well, that's just something recent. I learned that recently how to get into the free movie. That's still, if a movie's good, I'll go back and pay for it.
Well, how the hell were you going to see movies when you were broke, when you had to pay for them? What were you doing? There's a secret in there that people need to know. I mean, if you could write a book about it, you probably get paid right then.
No, I mean, I'm not saying broke like no money. I'm just saying like when you're working average hours and the paycheck wasn't looking all that great. I go to the movies.
You sneak in.
My last dollar.
I see you saving money by eating those steak-'em sandwiches, probably sneaking a few into the theater with you. So, look, man, okay. I hear what you said. You probably were like me at one point. Like you have certain pastimes that you like to do, and having money to do those are what you do. You don't spend a whole lot of money on anything else but that one thing that you like to do.
Well, most of my money goes towards the books, That's 10, 15 years ago, I'd easily spend like $100 a week in a comic book store.
God damn, boy, you and Leon need to hang out with each other, you know that? Because y'all be the comic book store would be like everybody else. We got two Negroes of money coming in here to buy some books, and they got money. Y'all got to get that. Let them have the reign of the store because they're going to spend some money.
I was buying cards. I was buying all kinds of back issues. I was buying everything.
Damn,
it was like...
I mean, I ain't gonna say anything because I know you like football and you're probably a big dude and you probably slapped the shit out of me. But
I don't want to talk about football because I had to get rid of my Sunday ticket for this season.
But I'm just saying, you're a mysterious brother, man. I mean, you nobody can pin you down. You got money, but you don't have money. You like football, but you like comic books. You're a nerd, but you're not a nerd. But I can't pin you down, man.
Hey, I'm not. Come on now, look. You know what cracks? Listen, this is what cracked me up. It's like everybody likes calling themselves nerds and everything. And the whole thing was at one time to do what you do and not be labeled. But now everybody wants to be labeled, so I don't get it. I don't get kids.
Hey, man, look, I know what you're saying. In fact, I'll tell you a story in a little bit, but No, getting back to what you were saying about the movies, man. The movies, yeah, and I look at even, like you brought up a good point, even the animated movies are far superior than what we had last year. We had Shrek 3, and I think we had something else, I can't remember, but I know, and we're not going
to... animated well, but that movie storyline, it fell apart, like...
Mm-hmm. But look at what we had. We're not going to count Space Chimps or anything like that this year. But we had Kung Fu Panda, and we had WALL-E. We had a DreamWorks movie. I mean, and I think we had a DreamWorks movie last year, didn't we? I can't remember. But anyway,
yeah, they did. DreamWorks did Kung Fu Panda.
I'm sorry. No, I mean, not a DreamWorks, but a Pixar movie. We had.
That was WALL-E.
WALL-E, and then, do we have a Pixar movie last year?
Ratatouille.
Okay, so Okay, so either way it goes, I mean, I guess we did have some good movies back last summer, because I like Ratatouille a lot, actually. But Overall, I see what you're saying. It is far superior in what we have. I mean, we had two very good comic book movies. We had two very good animated movies, two of them, and we've also had some very funny comedies. I mean, I might have not liked all of them, but they've pretty much been reviewed favorably. So yeah, it's a good point you made. A very good year. But even though we had far superior movies, and that's all a matter of opinion, but I'm just going by how movies were reviewed, and I think consistently the movies we had this summer were reviewed better than they were last summer. Even with that taken into account, last summer made more money.
Well, you know, they had three big franchises. They were like automatic, and like this year, you didn't know what was automatic. Like nobody knew Dark Knight was gonna like be ruler of the universe with 500 million. I mean, they figured it would do like what the first one did, maybe a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Iron Man, they weren't sure what they were going to do. None of these movies, you didn't know if they were going to be blockbusters or not. You figured they'd be blockbusters. And, you know, like, last year, you got like 4 movies that made $300 million. Mm-hmm. Compared to this year, there was 3 movies that made over $300 million.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I just I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful for the summer that we had, because overall, even with some of the movies that I might have criticized, I did have a very good time this summer, and I'm very happy to see that a lot of these movies were able to have some sort of financial success. Even though we had some really bad ones too. Well, I guess Disaster movie kind of came on the brink of summer being over, so we won't even count that. But you know what? And a lot of people, I agree. I own up to being sort of nerdy and geeky. Man, everybody has it in them. I mean, how do you think I got into what I'm doing right now? I mean, it didn't come by me because I was captain of the football team when I was in high school. But I'll tell you something though. A lot of people want to know why I have this thing against D&D, or Dungeons and Dragons, or role playing. I don't really have anything against role playing games, because I kind of play games that are video games that kind of take those elements. But doing the thing where you roll the dice and all this kind of stuff, I'll give you a quick story of what happened to me when I was a kid. I was kind of getting into D&D. All right, you heard it from me right here. I about 10 years old, 11 years old.
I never got into it. I mean, I tried one time. My brother had bought me a set. He was like, "Yeah, while you're away at college, we'll play over the phone, whatever." He was like, he was too busy chasing tail, and I was chasing tail. So
yeah, well, no, that man, I'm talking about when I was like about 10 or 11. I got into my tail chasing time later, but I mean 10 or 11, I got into it, and I couldn't tell what the hell was going on. I mean, I'm 11 years old trying to figure out a fucking D&D instruction booklet, and I'm bored out of my mind, but. Later on down the line, I started kind of getting back into it. I said, I want to figure this out. I mean, even as a kid, I was just like, I'm not going to stop until I actually get this right. And the thing that kind of turned me around was, okay, so there was a role-playing game group in town. And I'm from Waco, so that was kind of amazing to me that people did this in Waco, because nobody did anything in Waco except order blizzards at Dairy Queen. So we go to Baylor and watch football. But anyway, so I'll go to this group. And it's a weird group. I mean, it's full of adults. Now, I'm not saying that D&D players are like this now, and maybe it's just Waco. I don't know. But the adults were so socially, I don't want to say socially retarded, but that's kind of what I'm leading up to. They were just kind of so socially inept that they didn't know how to respond to a little kid in there. Because I know if I was doing this, a little kid came in, it's like, hey, let me take you under my wing. Sit down right here. I'm going to show you how the game is played. This is how you do it. This is what happens. Hey, everybody, let's help little Corey out. But no, these guys came in and said, yeah, sit down and just watch us play. And then they just went on doing their thing. Now, when I was in there, it seemed kind of weird, but it was still kind of normal because everybody was dressed in regular clothes. Now, the longer I stayed, that's when you had the people. That's when you had Gandalf showing up. You know, you had people showing up dressed in armor, people showing up dressed in robes like wizards and shit. And my mom came to pick me up, and when she picked me up, she saw a Honda pull up and a fucking wizard step out of it. And she's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And she might have thought it was the Grand Dragon of the Clan or something. I don't know why but she freaked out. And when she came and she got me. got in the car, and she's like, did I just see a wizard walk in there? A man dressed up like a wizard? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you know I'm not bringing your ass back here. And I was like, yeah. Because she's like, you know this ain't doing anything for your social life. And I was like, you know, my mom was already kind of weird about me at the time. She thought, and I'm not saying it's bad to be gay, but my mom thought I was like teetering on being gay. And when you're a black kid, you know, back then it wasn't cool to be young and gay. And so she was just, this is the last thing I need right here. I got my gay son who wants to go in and hang out with wizards. So I was like, hey, you know something? Maybe she's right in this point. Maybe I just really need to kind of try to be cool a little bit.
And the ones that dressed up, did they also do the role playing like it out in the park somewhere, you know?
Nah, man, this is way before that. I mean, wasn't where they actually got. So, you know, I mean, today we got people who are out there, they're putting on trash can lids armor and going out there.
No, they were doing that. They were doing that way a long time ago. That's not nothing new.
All right, well, I never saw that, man. They didn't do that. I don't know why they were coming in dressed like that. I think they just liked the fact that they could dress up like wizards and elves and shit. I don't know. I mean, I didn't stay around to ask. I just know at the time, my mom, she really did convey to me, like, in my case, I was already kind of a dorky kid. This is the last thing I needed. She knew. She said, now, I think he's gay, and that means he's probably not going to be sleeping with women, but the route he's going, the road he's going down, he's not going to even be able to sleep with men. He ain't going to get anything. And she was kind of right. I was dorky enough to like teeter over the edge of being Urkel if I wasn't careful. So I really thank my mom for doing that. So now I kind of make fun of D&D players.
That's why I lived a well-rounded childhood. I did a little bit of everything. So nobody would question me, you know. And somebody did question me, I'd put them in their place. It's like, no, do what the hell I want to do, you know. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, no. For me, man, like I right now, I mean, I'm not no punk. I mean, a lot of people think I'm this goofy guy and everything. I mean, I'm not a boxer or anything, but I'm big enough to not back down from a fight. But if
you're bigger than me.
Well, I will not run away from anything. So this old goofy image you got, I mean, you might be able to beat the shit out of me, but we will go down somehow together. Or I will come behind you with a bat and knock your ass out. No, I'm not a badass or anything, man. My point is, I'm joking around right now. I don't want people to think I'm sitting up here like my dick is small, but I'm a strong motherfucker. No, it's not like that. My point is that yes, growing up and being collecting comic.
I know you started getting hard once you started watching those Dolomite movies. You gave me some hard too.
No, man. No, Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore, boy, look it up, kids. I ain't even going into it now. But growing up like kind of a black nerdy guy, man. I was collecting comic books. I was watching cartoons all day long. I mean, I'm at home 50. I mean, look, I'm sitting up here watching Transformers and Secret of NIMH and all this kind of stuff, trying to learn how to draw. And I mean,
was it about the original Transformers?
Well, they had yeah.
I'm watching the 80. Yeah. Well, listen, you know, I was already like 18 when that came out, and I went away to college.
Mm-hmm.
And when people saw me come down to the rec room at 4:00, they knew what to turn it on to. And then it got to a point where more people was watching Transformers and G.I. Joe with me than they were previously watching the soap operas.
See, you can be cool like that. If you're cool, you kind of bring people into your geekiness, and they don't know. You got to Trojan horse people into it. But see, I wasn't able to do that. I kind of had to hide mine. I grew up watching. I mean, I was trying to learn how to draw kind of. I was watching tons of Disney movies and stuff like that. So I had to sit around and just kind of say, all right, you know what? I'm bound to get beat down. So I had to learn how to be cool. I mean, like when I was 18, I was much bigger than I was now because I was lifting weights every day. I was sitting up there trying to dress right and groom myself. I wanted to talk to girls, and then I started getting there. And then secretly, I would go home and put on something like Cinderella and watch that all day long and be very happy. But you got to learn how to defend yourself after a point, you know, if you're going to be a black nerd, I think.
How do you learn to defend yourself? What you given that? I know me. Truthfully, I hated fight when I was a little kid, and I come home and be like, people want to fight me all the time. My mom be like, look, you got a choice. You can go fight them. You can fight me. I was like, okay, I'll go fight them.
Damn. So you had that kind of mom. You know, you had that kind of mom where, you know, you get your ass beat out in the street and then you come home and get another ass beaten for losing.
No, not for losing, for not trying to defend myself. You know, I would try to, I wasn't scared. I just would try to avoid fights, you know, and sometimes you can't do it, and you get chased home, and you better get back out there,
Jesus,
show that
man.
boy something, or else you getting your ass whipped by me. So it's your choice.
Damn,
I learned how to kick some ass.
You had the ultimate black mom, the one that would like beat your ass, just looking for an excuse to whoop your ass.
Well,
I mean, sit up there, your mom come up there and just like, slap the shit out of you. What was that for? Shit, that's for when you fuck up later on. Sit down and eat. Nah, man, I don't know how we got on this term of being black nerds. I guess because we both had that sort of element about us, being that we're both into movies. Because I get a lot of people on this.
I'm not a nerd, God damn it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I get.
No,
I mean,
see, you know what? Now the people at the bookstore I go to every week, they're gonna hear this, and they've been getting on me since the first time you tried to call me that.
Man, because you are.
There,
you walk in there and what? And get called a nerd. What happened? No, go ahead. We walk in the bookstore and what? You come about the comic book store.
And they're like, nerd. Now, I'm like, fuck, there ain't no fucking nerd. Look,
man, being black and being into this, I get messages from people every day. If we are black and we're in the comics now, there's a whole, I mean, I can tell you, there's a whole lot of closeted black nerds out there. All right, I mean that's the truth. I mean, we got more in common. We sit up here and make fun of each other because we don't want to admit that we secretly go home and do nerdy stuff. I mean, and I know you and I are out now. We let everybody know. But yes,
Why can't I just be a nerd? Why can't I just be a regular guy? I'm into what I'm into.
Because
I like science fiction. I like reading books. I like getting laid.
Okay, I mean, it don't matter, man. You know how it is right now. I get messages from all these people. Like I got messages from a couple of messages from a couple of girls who were like saying on my campus, and I think a guy on my campus. A lot of the black kids. They don't talk to me about the kind of stuff that I like to talk about here, which is stuff like you said, science fiction, movies. I mean, simple things such as movies, comic books, whatever. And they say, and I'm scared to tell them because they'll label me as some sort of geek and not in a good way. I mean, we just don't come out to other black people about these kind of things.
Oh no, I don't have a problem coming. All my friends know what I'm into, and they know. I leave me alone. I'm doing my thing. When I see you, we want to get together and have some beers. We have some beers, but other than that, you got nothing to say to me or make fun of me about anything. And
okay.
I made that clear.
All right.
To all my friends. So.
All right. I mean, okay, man. Hey, you a bigger badass.
That 1.5 friend I got, he leaves me alone. I'm just kidding.
That one, okay. Well, that's why it's so easy for you because you're friends with a grown man and a midget. So you know it's not. But for a popular guy like myself, I just can't come out and say these kind. No, everybody knows now. Everybody knows. I mean, and you get to a certain level where you don't care. I'm just saying there's a certain period, and you can't tell me, Surfer, that you didn't go through this where you wondered who you could tell. Certain people, what people you could tell these things to that you were interested in stuff like science fiction and comic books and movies and animation and all kind of things.
I never had a problem telling anybody what I was into.
You're a better man than I am. I mean, because I was.
What was the? Especially now, I'm a grown fucking man. I do what the fuck I want to do.
Damn. Okay,
so
man. Hey. I'm sorry.
I've been watching Saturday morning cartoons since they first came out in like '70, and I never miss a weekend. And I get mad when I do miss a weekend, okay? And this will be the first freaking year I'm not going to have no cartoons to watch this year because they took all the good shit off. All that shit is too young for me now.
I just love the way you just getting pissed right now. Now I'm feeling it. You was kind of sleepy before. You're like, hey, man, what's up? But now you're like, I'm a grown goddamn fucking man. You don't tell me what to do, motherfucking. Shit, I watch cartoons. I'll be happy. I whoop your fucking ass on some Transformers. You hear me? I'm like, goddamn, he's really mad.
Nah, I'm not mad. I just do what I want to do. I do what I want to do. As long as I'm not bothering you, you don't bother me.
I thought you were bulking out. I say bulk because I call you the Black Hulk. I thought you were bulking out. I'm sorry. All right, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you. Hey, to tell you what. Enough lollygagging. Let's go ahead and get into some email right now. How about that? All right, so our first email comes from the ultimate Canadian movie guru, and this is kind of addresses the fall movie season that's coming up. He wants to know. Oh, I'm just going to be setting this thing up. Let me just go ahead and read it. It says, with the Oscar season starting, there's going to be movies like Burn After Reading, Appaloosa, sorry. Body of Lies, W, Soul Man, The Soloist, Australia, Frost, Nixon, and Valkyrie. Which of these sort of Oscar potential films are you looking forward to the most? And with all the hatred going to 20th Century Fox recently over the whole Watchmen debacle, are all their movies not making, and with all their movies not making any money this summer, how do you think Fox can recover? Sorry, I'm far away from the screen, so I can hardly see these goddamn letters on here. Well, first of all, I've only seen
Fox. How they can recover? Go back in a fucking time machine to when they used to be the standard, the quality for good movies. You know, and you that 20th Century Fox thing come up in the big 70mm screen. You know you was getting a good ass movie.
Man, let me tell you something. When you heard that music come on, that like they're the company that gave us Star Wars. I mean, you heard dun 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 dun. You want to get up and salute, like the president was coming out or something, like a king was walking through. And you're like, that music means quality. And now today you hear that, you're like dun 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 dun. You're like, oh, I don't want to hear that shit. You know. But you're right, man. You're pretty much right. Look. We've talked a lot about Fox, and I'm going to tell you, we've talked about the head of Fox probably being the problem. We've talked about maybe they just don't care anymore, and they're just concentrating on making a quick buck. I mean, we have all these theories about what's going on with Fox, and a lot of studios go through this. I mean, if you ask me my personal opinion, and this is me not being a part of Fox Studios or anything, I'm just taking a guess here. I'm just going to say, look, yes, part of it has to do with Fox leadership. 20th Century Fox's leadership. I think that what is it? Tim Rothman, whatever the guy's name is, the head of Fox. I think him and the rest of Fox need to listen to the people who are talking out there. They need to listen to real fans of movies. They don't need to put their hands in all these comic book movies and say people don't want to see them. They're stupid, because as of now we see that they're successful. They need to be smarter about the projects that they choose. They need to quit being so careful, maybe. I don't know.
It's not even that. I mean, like I said, we was talking about back in the day. You also had the directors that was associated with 20th Century Fox, you know? These Lucas and Spielberg, and you had some good directors. They was putting out some bomb-ass movies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe they burnt too many bridges. You know, these guys are like.
Well, I mean, I look. We see this happening all the time. I mean, I don't have a timeline of the history of every theater, but we often see theaters going through. If you want to read upon it and go back and look, I'm sure you will see that every studio has had a string of flops or a string of movies that have not made a lot of money, and there's a shakeup. And something happens. They either change leadership or people are switched back and forth. Executives come in and out. And 20th Century Fox at some point is going to go through a wake-up call. And yes, they will be making great movies. They'll be making some of the best movies out there again, and they'll be making money makers. And yeah, they'll have their time. Every studio goes through a slump for whatever reason.
Well, it seems like right now the best studio out there is Pixar.
If you want to get to it, yeah, and Pixar is with Disney, so I guess Pixar is really bringing Disney to the forefront of their movies.
No, I ain't say Disney. Disney
is a distributor
by themselves, so is average.
Yeah,
Pixar,
and I wonder how that happens. Pixar is, I mean, they are even some of their worst films, and I use the word worst loosely because I think every Pixar movie has an element of quality to it. But yeah, I mean, every movie that they make, they've had the luxury of going in and being able to actually create great stories and take their time with it. I think that does happen. That does have some involvement with being with Disney, because I would like to see how they
talent.
Well, no, it is talent, but I would like to see how they would operate on their own without being involved with Disney. I think they're working towards that.
Actually, I think you have seen what it's like for them to operate on their own. And WALL-E.
Well, WALL-E was still distributed through Disney.
I believe they started that after they left Disney the first time. Because, you know, the movies take a good 3 years or more. And they were gone for a while. So they had to have started that while they was going from Disney, and they came back, they made up. So they're like, look, this is our baby. We want it out there. And I said, okay, that's cool. They're writing checks for us.
Well, I mean, I think that it was a relationship with Disney. I mean, they were able to get their movies distributed through Disney. They had a lot of involvement with Disney, and Disney helped make them successful. So, I mean, it's a give and take. Disney has made, Pixar has made Disney a lot of money, and Disney has helped build them up to power. I believe I'm wrong. Then tell me, but anyway,
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I'm just speaking very loosely. I think I know Pixar, but perhaps I don't. There's a cool Pixar book out there describing the history of the company that I'll probably get, and then I'll come back and give you that answer. But that's not even what the email was asking. As far as the Oscar movies that you're talking about, Oscar season is a weird thing for me because there are movies that come out before Oscar season that are good, and they get overlooked just because they don't come out in that frame of time. So I really don't look at movies anymore in that way, saying, oh, what Oscar movies am I going to like? I just look at a lot of movies and say, hey, I think this is a great movie, and it's a shame that it's going to be overlooked because it didn't come out within that 3 months before December. But a lot of those movies that were listed on this email, they look very promising to me. I mean, Burn After Reading looks good. That's a Coen Brothers movie. W, I really want to see how that comes together. I wonder how they.
I've seen 8 Years of W. So.
You've seen, what you say, you don't need to see a movie about it. 2 hours more is too much. Body of Lies, the Ridley Scott movie with Russell Crowe and Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio looks really good, man. I mean, I don't know how the movie will play out, but it has me kind of interested. And I really want to see what Soul Man is going to be like. That's the movie with Bernie Mac, Samuel Jackson, and what's his name? Isaac Hayes. 2 of those guys are dead now that we know of. So, and that would be Bernie Mac and Isaac Hayes, of course. So naturally, just like with Heath Ledger from Batman, I want to see how this movie comes out. I hope the movie's not shit because it's going to be really bad for those brothers to be in a shitty movie and die with that. That's the last thing that they've done. But Valkyrie, you told me Valkyrie looks pretty cool. I haven't seen a trailer for that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure about that movie until I saw the one trailer they put out there, and it looked like it's going to be one of those on the edge of your seat thrillers. You got these guys trying to plot Hitler's assassination.
Now we have Tom Cruise as a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
Which he really is in life, right? I mean, that's Scientologist Nazi. It's kind of the same thing, right? No, I'm kidding, man. I don't know what I'm talking about. But no, it's so I haven't seen a trailer for that or anything, but I know the movie keeps getting pushed back. And isn't his company producing that, United Artists?
It got moved back up.
Oh, it did? Okay, all right.
Yeah, okay. It was supposed to come out in the summertime. Then it got pushed back to next year. And then it got brought back up to Christmas because of I think Harry Potter movie.
All right, gotcha. Oh, is that a United Artists movie from his company?
Yeah.
Okay. He needs a hit for that company, man. And like Lions for Lambs didn't do well and whatnot, so I hope they're pushing this up because they have high hopes for it. I mean, Tom Cruise, I have newfound respect for him for making fun of himself in Tropic Thunder. Well, I don't know if he's really making fun of himself, but he did. He wasn't taking himself dead serious about taking that role. He knew what he was doing. So, hey, I've always liked Tom Cruise as an actor, and hope he can pull this off. So, let's go ahead and get into our next email here, which is from Brandon. And Brandon says, "Just got back from LA and Universal Studios. I got on the backlot tour to see what was so awesome about it, and I got extremely depressed around the soundstage area. Our announcer for the tour, Owen, drove past the sound stages, and he starts talking about the Land of the Lost movie. When he's done, he reminds us to check out the movie. Here's the quote, "And don't forget to check out Land of the Lost, an upcoming comedy by Will Ferrell." I can easily say now, I'm not looking forward to this movie, but if you can, please tell me your thoughts on this. And that's from Brandon.
Come on, that Land of the Lost. Even though it scared the crap out of me when I was a little kid, it was a kid's show. Man, so you can't make it into some serious, thriller.
Man, look, let me tell you something. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
No, I mean they're taking a kid's show that kids like. Kids, I was the only one who didn't watch it. I was too scared. I was hiding under my bed. I was like, man, these police stacks are just like dinosaurs. No way.
Yeah, see, you see, that's what I'm talking about, man. That was a cool ass show to be a kid's show. People, let me tell you about Land of the Lost. Land of the Lost. If you've probably heard us say this before, but Land of the Lost is probably one of the coolest things that Sid and Marty Krofft had done back in their day. And Sid and Marty Krofft, they're those two guys. I don't give a damn what you say. They would smoking some shit when they made these shows, like H.R. Puffin stuff, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Yeah. I mean, all these shows were had bright colors, or trippy images, or some sort of weird theme with I don't care what you say, some sort of drug overtones to them. Hey, H.R. Puffin stuff. Hey, Puffin, come on, please.
Hey, back in the day, Saturday morning cartoons, either a show said Sid and Marty Krofft or Rankin Bass.
Or Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah. I mean,
and
that was it.
And shit, they had a show called Puffin. That dragon was smoking dope. Don't say he was puffing stuff because he was sitting up there blowing fire. Hell, he never blew fire on that. That goddamn dragon never blew fire on that show, man.
I love Puff, man. Talking about what made me who I am today.
What, the drug addict you are? Look, man, H.R. Puffin stuff, that dragon never blew smoke, but he would walk across the screen with some crazy colors and his eyes half closed and probably all red. You know what he was doing, man. Shit, I mean, come on.
Man, that witchy poo.
Witchy poo and all that kind of shit. Come on, man. You can't think of nothing like witchy poo without smoking some shit. But H.R. Puffin stuff, I mean, not H.R. Puffin stuff, but Land of the Lost was one of the coolest shows that they did because it seemed like a serious science fiction show. I mean, they had some. Don't ask me any names right now, but they actually had some science fiction writers who had pretty good reputations writing on that show. Acclaimed science fiction writers, and they had some really cool concepts. I mean, it's a world. Okay, it's kind of dumb the setup. I mean, yeah, I guess it sounds like some drug-induced shit if I tell you the setup, but it was like these three campers, Marshall, Will, and Holly. In fact, if you sang the song, Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition, met the greatest earthquake ever known. Yeah, and they did that thing when they went over the rapids, like, it was like, high on the rapids, the raft went down the hill, or something like that. And you hear that, and they fell into the valley, and they fell into a valley deep below, and that's where they were in the Land of the Lost. And Land of the Lost, that's the story they tell you at the beginning. Sounds stupid when they set it up, but the land that they went into was sort of it captured all these elements of time, all these different dimensions of time. So at first you think they got stuck in prehistoric times, but then you realize like it's a portal where people have gotten trapped, people from other dimensions, other planets. And they slowly meet all these different creatures, and then they meet things that seem like they're not part of prehistoric history, like the lizard man, the Sleestak. And
what was that noise they made? No,
you're talking about
something like that, right?
No, you're talking about the dinosaurs. No, the Sleestak will come out.
No, the Sleestaks. They used to make some.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what it is. No, the Sleestak did that whole thing of like. And they would always chase the guys, and then they had that one smart Sleestak, the one smart lizard man who was like, he would come out and it's like, my name is Enoch. These dumb motherfuckers are not like me. I'm smart. I've got to get back to my time and leave these dumb assholes alone. And then later it was like what you call it? It was like, what was that show? No, it was like that movie Planet of the Apes, where you think that they're in the past, but they're in the future. And Enoch found out these people are not my ancestors. They are my future. God damn it! And
this is what happens when you start smoking. You get dumb.
Well, man, I'm just telling you. But the show was cool. Now, my whole point of telling you all this is because it was a cool concept for a show. And back then when they did it, the special effects were bad because it was all like these video special effects, because like they would have the dinosaurs, which were done in sort of stop motion, kind of look like clay, and they would chase after the kids, and you could tell the kids were like it was like a bad CG effect, like a blue screen, a green screen effect, not like George Lucas shit. You could see like a little bit of green around the characters and shit. So yeah, and my whole thought was it would be great to see them redo a movie, redo it in a way that is serious, and actually redo it sort of like a PG-13 movie where you take all the best science fiction elements out of it and you make a great movie. Now they got Will Ferrell in the movie and they're making this a comedy. I'm like, oh my God.
But who are you making it for? See, that's part of the thing about these TV movies. Like you take something from like 30, 40 years ago, and it's like, well, the older people know it because they was there when it was there out the first time, when they caught it in the reruns. But the younger people, they don't know nothing about it, so who are you making it for? And then all us older people, we want to compare. Is that what they did in the TV show? And if they don't get it right, then it's done. It's done.
Well, man, look, I think you bring up a good question. Who are they making it for? They're making it. I would imagine that for those people who grew up with the show, they would be making it sort of for them, and then it could also be for younger people because it's kind of a cool concept. You go in and look. I haven't seen the movie, okay, so I'm sitting up here. I don't want to say anything seriously until I've seen the movie. It might be a great film. I'm just telling you what I thought my concept would be, and I have to admit it doesn't fit too well as a comedy for me.
But Corey,
yes, sir.
The 70s was stupid, man. We grew up in a stupid era. We did it. That whole decade was just. People had been getting high in the 60s, and they was coming down that high in the 70s, and they was making stuff up. I mean, so did they ever get out of there?
Dude, who ever get out of what?
Like when the show went off the air, did they ever make it back to civilization?
Oh, you talking about on the show Land of the Lost? Did they ever? No, those poor bastards were like Gilligan on Gilligan's Island. No, they didn't get out that shit, man. I think
Gilligan got off at some point. They made it back home.
But they always ended up back on that island somehow. It was like fate just sucked them back in. That island has some sort of power or something. It's like the island from Lost. Like Gilligan, they should make Gilligan's Lost Island where he gets pulled back every time. But it's like a portal he just can't get out of. But no, I think the dad left because the dad on the show was just kind of like, I'm tired of doing this old stupid dinosaur shit. I got to get out of here. But I'm talking about as part of wanting to leave the show. So on the show, he actually found a way to get out and the kids were left behind. Here's a funny thing. Right when the dad left, at the same time the dad left, the uncle came in. So it's kind of
I know.
It was like,
I mean,
whoa.
I've seen episodes, even though it scared me because for some reason I was scared of that kind of stuff, I mean, like.
Well, I'm younger than you are, so I actually have the DVD collection over here, and I still watch those, man. And then I had to see reruns of it when I was growing up, and they showed reruns of it on the Sci-Fi Channel when the Sci-Fi Channel was first starting out. So I've seen every one of these, and I thought it was a very cool show. So I'm just thinking, wow, it would have been great had they just been able to make this into like a serious science fiction show, a movie. But hey, look, no telling. It might be a very funny movie. They might pay great homage to to the show. They might do everything right. So we just have to wait and see. Oh, let's see. I'm going to read one more email right here. As soon as I find one. I want to thank you for being up this late with me, by the way, man. I appreciate it.
Well, just make sure the check's in the mail,
Okay, I will send you a dog turd coming up soon. You got that? Oh, man. People are asking me about making a spill movie. Let me tell you something. Do you know how hard it would be to make a movie? For all you kids out there, because no adult is asking me this. Every adult is laughing about this, and I talk to like, yeah, make a spill movie. But we got some kids out there who are asking, Corey, make a spill movie because of that trailer that Mexicano made. If you haven't seen this trailer that Mexicano made.
Oh, yeah, that was he should at least be out there making, trailers for some studio.
Man, well,
I know.
Yeah.
He wants to do movies, but I mean, he starts small and works his way up.
Man, it's amazing. The people here on this site, you are amazing. I want to say there is some great talent on this website, and just because I'm talking about Mexicano doesn't mean I'm trying to overlook anybody else. But Mexicano, actually, this guy, he put some work into what he did, and he wants to be a movie maker or a filmmaker, and from judging from that, all I can say is he's well on his way. So he's. I'm sorry, I thought you had something to say. Kids today, boy. If I had what they had back then, I'd be a millionaire right now. You see, I feel cheated, man. I feel like it just like
you feel cheated. I went to Art Institute, and then I leave, and then all of a sudden they got the video and animation. It's like. What was all this when I was there? Man, let me tell you something.
Go ahead. Yeah, a lot of people have found my name. I used to work at an animation studio when I was like very young, man, and a lot of people don't know this, but I actually, and some people have spotted this and have talked to me about it. I did I worked on Space Jam. And I can remember
I saw your name.
Yeah, and people, let me tell you something. I want to answer this anyway. On Space Jam, let me tell you the story behind this. I told Metal Virgin this in an email. And by the way, she wanted me to wish her happy birthday. Happy birthday, Metal Virgin. Okay, so we got that.
Happy birthday. No, hey, take it easy out there, slamming them down,
Oh, yeah, that girl's turning 21, man. I wish I was there to corrupt her ass. But anyway, I got your present.
Shame on you, man. Yeah, shame on you.
Yeah, shame on me. I've heard it all before.
Corrupted enough use of the day as it is. You don't need to corrupt anymore.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. To get to teach them about life early on. But man, when I worked at this studio, so I was working on Space Jam, and I'm not bragging about that. I just think it's a funny story because, back then, I don't know what the deal was. I used to say, yeah, those guys didn't give me a chance. And the guy who ran the studio is actually, I don't see him a whole lot, but I do consider him a great friend. And I consider him a guy that gave me my first chance. And he actually, I actually give him a lot of credit for where I am today. But at the time, I think I wasn't my skill level just wasn't that good. And they had me working on. They had me take out. I remember one time they just didn't have anything for me to do, and they weren't gonna let me touch the cool shit. So they had me go take shit to the recycling bin. They said, there's nothing for you to do now. Just get in the car and take all these papers over the recycling bin. I remember doing that and hung it. I didn't come back for like 3 hours, but when they were working on Space Jam, they did not let me touch Space Jam at all. And one day,
let you name Mike.
Oh yeah, because Michael Jordan was in the studio overseeing everything with us every day. Hell, man, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. What?
You got to talk to him?
Man, Michael Jordan. Look, we were like a second, third string studio for that movie. Michael Jordan he probably didn't even know what the movie was about until it was done. He's probably like, Bugs Bunny's in this shit? I'm playing basketball with Bugs Bunny? What the fuck? But no, it's in Space Jam, that was one of their high profile projects, and they didn't let me touch it at all. And when I say they just sent in the studio, they got stuff for Space Jam, just clean up and do some of the pickup work for it. There wasn't like the main studio for animating stuff. So they were doing things like special effects, cleanup work for some of the drawings, and putting shadows on certain characters and objects. So one day they're strapped and they just said, okay, we absolutely got to have Corey do this right here. And so they said, Corey, okay, don't fuck this up. Okay, just draw one shadow on this iron lung. Now, if you go back and watch the movie, you have Tweety Bird when they get beat by the aliens. Don't ask me to explain the movie why Tweety Bird is playing basketball with aliens. It's a dumb idea if you ask me. But anyway, after they get beat by the aliens, all the characters are injured and laid out, and Tweety Bird is connected to an iron lung. Now,
yeah, that was sad. That brought a tear to my eye when I saw that. Man.
You are the most sensitive son of a bitch I've ever met, man. I swear to God, you were so sensitive.
Hey, I was the only one in the theater who didn't cry during E.T., and everybody else cried that day. That first time we saw it, I almost cried, but I didn't cry. So I don't cry for everything now.
Okay, all right.
I don't cry for nothing. Come on, man. I'm hardcore.
What are you talking about? You were hiding under the bed from the slee stack. What the fuck are you saying? You ain't hardcore.
I'm 5 years old.
Get out of here. You 50 years old when you watch that show. But so you're 75 years old. No, so they came and told me, they said, Corey, we actually absolutely have to have you do this. And so what they wanted me to do was draw that shadow on the iron lung that Tweety Bird is connected to. And that was it. I drew a shadow, one shadow on this bird's iron lung. Now, at the end of the movie, you see all these different studios come up, and Heart of Texas is one of them. And since my name is Corey Coleman, since my name ends with my last name begins with a C, I was one of the first people that you saw, if you waited around that long to actually see the credits anyway. And so everybody in the studio was like, Corey, you're a fuck up. You did one thing on this movie, and one shadow, and your name is seen above everybody else. I'm like, hey, shit, that's the alphabet, man. Don't blame me for that shit. But I don't know why I got into this story. It had something to do with talent on the site or something like that. But I just want to say that, no, everybody, there's a lot of talent on the site, and this guy Mexicano is well on his way. And that's what it was. The technology. I've been working at that studio thinking, shit, if they can come out one day, my job would be so much easier if they just made it to where you can see animation done with the push of a button on the computer, and then Flash comes out, and lo and behold, that's it. I'm already kind of late in the animation game, but for these kids who are coming up who are like 15, 13 years old, 17 years old, I mean, that's a dream come true for some people. You kids use that shit. If you think you have talent, use it. Do not take it for granted, because a long time ago, to do animation, you would actually have to sit down with paper. You would have to like take something like a Super 8 camera or 16 millimeter camera and film it frame by frame. Take it to a store, get the film developed, come back, look at it through your projector. And if it wasn't right, guess what? You had to do that process all over again. And so please, when I was first started doing animation, that's the way I did it. And when Flash came across, any kind of program that allowed you to do animation on the computer, that was a dream come true. So I'm happy to see when people use that. Somebody like Mexicano who actually go in and utilize that at a very early age.
Yeah, well, you know, these kids today, they're born and they're given a computer. So by the time they get old enough to, I still remember the days where you was trying to figure out how to do DOS.
Yeah.
Let alone doing the day with these computers.
Well, these days, I mean, I'm just amazed at how computers have gotten smaller. I mean, this is a lucky age these kids are living in. So, but even though things are that simple right now, I still cannot make a Spill movie, okay? Because it's too much work. It's just too involved. I mean, I don't think you understand how much time and money it takes to make a movie. Now, I could go in and make something really, really silly, but I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to put like hours and hours and money into something that I'm just going to put on the website for a day. I mean, no, that's not possible. I mean, to make a movie, especially an animated movie, even doing it the way we do it, it's a lot of work. It takes a team of people and a budget.
I think a lot of people on this site would buy a movie from you if you made one, but
I tell you, well, hey, maybe one day we'll make something like you know how you have those straight to DVD movies that are like 30 minutes long, 40 minutes long, something like that. Maybe one day if somebody can give me a good enough idea, maybe. I'm not saying not even anytime soon, but maybe.
Oh, you should have said that, man. You shouldn't have said that. You're going to be getting all these emails. Why don't you do this, man? Why don't you do that?
Oh, I know. I'm just curious to see what people's ideas are. Their ideas are. I'm not saying I'm going to go and do this. I'm not saying that I'm going to be taking these seriously, at least not yet. I would just love to hear what people have to say, their ideas. Who knows? Later on down the line, I might take this and we might say, hey, you know what? We can actually maybe make a straight to DVD thing and sell it on the site. I mean, I'm saying this hypothetically, of course. I'm just saying somewhere down the line. Here's what I want people to do. I just want you to inspire me. That's all. Just inspire me. And who knows what happens. I just get inspired by seeing people being creative on the site. So whatever you got to do. That's all.
Well, why don't you hire some of these creative people to do the work for you? And you just keep them out of the money. That's all.
It doesn't work like that. I mean, people are so excited. You want me? Here, I'm going to set up a scenario for you. All right. Here's how it's going to work. All right.
Okay.
You get somebody. Let me say I just get 10 people on the site, and I tell them, hey, would you like to work on a Spill movie? In the beginning, they're going to be like, oh, man, Corey, you know what? It would be my dream to work on a Spill movie with you. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Great. I can't pay you. I don't need any payment, man. I just want to do this because I think it's such a cool project. And so we start working. They realize how hard it is. They realize, and then one day they're thinking, shit, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not getting paid. And they're out. Now, it'll be polite. It won't be like that. They'll be like, hey, Corey, man, I really can't turn any work today because I got to go to work. I got to go to class, or, oh, man, you know, my dog is sick and I got to pull cotton out of his ass or whatever. I don't know. But then later on, then they say, and I'll be back. Well, trust me, man, I want to be a part of this. I'll be back. And then you know what's going to happen? Either they'll come back and say, yeah, things are getting kind of hard. I don't think I have time to do this anymore. But that guy's good. Pass off the work to him. Or they just, you won't hear from him anymore.
But if they really want to get into the business, I mean, you know, a portfolio is what you need, and you know, you may do some free work today, but when you're ready to show people what you can do, that'll get you to the paying jobs. I mean, I've done artwork and photographs that was for free, just so I could have something to show to get paid later.
But a movie, I don't think people understand when you say movie. I mean, who knows? Right now, I've been through this before. I've done this for years. I've been a freelance artist for years. I've done animation for years. I've done creative work for years, and it doesn't work that way. People got to get paid. And that's what it comes down to. And I don't like to give work to people for free. I do that. I will do that as a trial period. If people do work for me, but it eventually leads up after a couple of weeks, they're going to get paid for it. I don't like to do that because for one reason, I don't like to cheat people. I don't like to have people do stuff for me and feel like I'm taking advantage of them.
You don't cheat people when they have that title of intern.
No, you're right. But the other deal is for my own peace of mind. I like to pay people to know that they're going to be around. Look, if you're getting paid, that means that you got a job to do. And if you want to get your money, you got to do it. You don't get paid until you do it. And we have people that we do that with right now. So that's the model I like to work by. It's the only thing that has worked for me. So I want to hear your ideas if you have some for a Spill movie. I mean, it'd be great to hear. Somebody start a group and put the ideas in there. I'll go and check it.
I think they do have a Spill movie group.
Okay, well, put the ideas in there. Start a separate section that says, as heard on a Colwyn's, the ideas for Spill movie, because Corey asked. You can even make that title right there as long as it is, and I'll go and look at them and we'll see what happens. So, with that said, right now, anything else you have to add to that, by the way? Any advice, anything? I don't mean to shut you out.
No, I mean, I told you what I thought, and, so
okay.
I'm done.
All right, okay, sorry. Okay, you got me. Okay. One guy asked if we're going to go see College, and that is from George. George, I would like to go see College, but because I would like to just have a complete list of movies that we've seen on the site. If I did, it would be an audio review, but at this point, they didn't give us a screening for it, and I don't think I'm going to go check it out just because it came in at number 15. Nobody really saw it, and basically, I don't think anybody gives a shit about that movie.
So. Well, there was a scene in that movie, and I'm sitting there watching, and I'm thinking to myself, these little high school kids had a choice of doing something or getting their ass whipped, and I'd have took their ass whipping because what they made them do. And for them to actually do it in the movie, I'd have looked at the script and said, "No effing way! I'm not doing it." No.
Hey, you can say "fuck" here if you like. You born again Christian or something?
No, fuck this, man.
Okay, so there you go. Get it out, man. Every now,
motherfucker.
Exactly. Shit, I tell people sometimes. Look, if I write. If I send you an email, if I write, I can send some eloquent emails, very professional. When I write creatively, I can actually write, and I don't use foul language because you always hear that a man who uses foul language is just doing that because he's not smart enough to use correct language. And look, no, I know how to speak clearly. Okay, I know how to speak correctly. I know how to spell. I know how to write. But there comes a point every now and then you just got to get out a good fuck. Okay.
Hey, people, if you come to my page and listen to that review we did for the movies that came out last week, you will hear the words fly there. I had just came home from both of those movies.
What, Disaster movie in college?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did it as part of a call-in show. And man,
really?
It's a good thing I didn't have a gun, because I'd have got gunned down in the middle of Center City.
Man, there goes that goddamn chipmunk. Speaking of fuck, get that fucking thing to stop doing. What the hell is that? Sound like you're getting shot by a laser or something.
I get the speakers down, and yet let me turn it off.
You ever seen like those cartoons where it's the somebody like pisses off a chipmunk and they sit up there and it sounds like what's going on in your room. Are you there? Did you die? What happened? Surfer? Okay.
I'm listening to you. No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So yeah, man. So I was, man. I'm gonna stop talking about that movie because.
Man, don't
start cursing.
Man, don't man, don't hurt yourself over that movie. All right, I mean, don't. It ain't worth it. Okay, shit, the movie's bullshit. But no.
Did you see the card I posted on your page?
You posted a card on my page. What is it like? Yes. A love, like a Valentine or something like that?
No, I took the still from the last review.
Oh, yes, I did.
You rating.
You know what, Surfer? You do that a lot. Speaking of people who do put the extra effort in, you've done some artwork. At least you've taken some of the pre-existing art that we've done and made some funny things with it. And see, I love that. I love when you guys do that kind of stuff.
So,
Well, apparently you don't care. You're like, okay, so whatever.
No, I mean, I just
it's like, God damn it.
I figure somebody needs to send them a copy of that card. You know,
well,
make them stop making these movies.
Well, no, and I think I will make that a new rating. If you watch the rating for what Surf is referring to here is I just did a whole new rating system for disaster movie because I didn't know what else to say except the rating is fuck you because I don't know what else to say to that movie. It's just bullshit is not enough.
You got to say the way you did it in review. Let's hear it.
Well, you know what? I would, but I'm in my. I'm worried about my neighbors right now. It's late at night, and I know they used to do that thing of beating on the door, and I haven't had a complaint in a long time. So and the thing is, if I scream out "fuck you" right now, like "fuck you," then they're gonna think I'm yelling at them, like I'm like in defiance. You can't tell me to shut up. Fuck you. So no, I'm just gonna keep because when I screamed it that night, they heard me down the street. But it was a Friday night, so it was all right. But no, I'm not gonna go. There's some movies you just don't go see, man. After a while, and College is one of them. Nobody gave a shit about that movie, and why? I mean, it's not gonna be at this point. I don't even think it would be a fun review.
I'll give you a quick synopsis.
Oh, okay. You saw. You want to give me a quick review? Don't give me. Yeah.
Well, the whole thing with the three little nerdy kids, or the fat crass one, and the
so wait a minute.
Glover type.
Well, what's the movie about anyway?
Three high school kids, right? You know, they seniors, and they get told about I spent the weekend at the college and all, and I had all this fun, blah blah blah. And the one guy, the middle guy, that's supposed to be the guy that's kind of sweet but still a nerd. He loses his girlfriend because his girlfriend like, you boring as hell. So they go to the school, and they supposed to stay in this guy's dorm. He spent the whole weekend just like, you know, whacking on.
All right, this movie already sounds like some bullshit. Okay.
So the fat guy's like, well, you know, my brother, he was a pledge at this place. Let's go stay there. And these jerk asses, they all bored. They just decide, we'll take them in. We just start effing with them. And that's all they do. The whole weekend, just torture these three little college.
So this movie is like it should have been called like college hazing or fraternity hazing. The movie.
Yeah,
okay.
The scene I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
They made these three do body shots off this hairy guy. And one scene, it's like...
All right, man. You know what? From what little you told me, I don't need to tell me anymore. We can drop this review because that sounds like some dumb shit. I mean, I'm sorry. I ain't trying to cut you off, but this sounds like some dumb shit. I mean, why even try to analyze this movie? I mean, they doing shots off Chewbacca and shit. I mean, I don't... Okay, whatever. I mean, that says it all right there. Bullshit. Thank you very much. I mean, I might even go as far as say fuck you, not you, Surfer, but that movie. So, all right, man. So that's the show, man. You did well. You held in there. I like that.
Thank you. Can I mention something real quick?
Oh, is this a plug?
Yes.
Oh, all right. What you plugging?
Call-in show this Thursday. Let me give you the phone number for all the comic book reads out there. It's 347-677-0857. It's 9 o'clock on Thursday Eastern time. You get to mess with me, the crazy-ass Mr. J, the silly-ass Deadpool, and who else will call in? Maybe you, okay?
Okay, I've been promising to call, and I'm gonna do that at some point. I swear. You know, but let me tell you something, man. Whether I call in or not, and look, I don't mean to sound like Dr. Cosby or anything with you guys. I'm not trying to act like a father figure, but I want to say I'm proud of you guys. I mean, I don't want to talk down to you. Don't take it like that. But I really am happy to see you kind of take sort of these creative things.
You inspire me.
I know. Well, hey, that's what I try to do. I stop touching people, and now I try to inspire them from afar. So I'll stop grabbing ass, and I'll just try to touch people in other ways, metaphorically instead of physically. No, no, really, when I'm happy to see people kind of take this whole talk radio. I don't know how many people have done this, but a lot of people from the site have got their own radio shows now because it's so easy to do, and that's what it's there for. A lot of people have called me up and been like, "Hey, man, can I do this? Am I stepping on your toes?" I'm like, "What are you asking me for?" That's what it's there for. Anybody can go in there and do it by all means. And to see you guys just take something like that and be creative on your own is hey, that's inspiring to me, man. So all you guys out there, thanks for just doing good work like that. I love seeing people be creative.
Thank you, Mr. Aquavano.
What you call me, Aquavelva? What?
Aquavano.
Aquavano? What is that, a rapper?
Yes.
What the hell is that?
No, did you ever see that movie with Joe Piscopo and Danny DeVito? And the mobsters on the run, they steal this credit card, and the mobster they're running from is played by Lou Albano, and they got his credit card, and they run it up at the casino, and his name was Aquavano. And it was like, so they would buy stuff, and they would get big tips, so the people would go, thank you, Mr. Aquavano.
Okay, that was a hell of a stretch right there, but I will just say thank you. That's very nice of you. So anyway, that's the end of our show, man. And I was very happy to have you here. You did well. I had a good time talking to you. So with that, I will say good night, and Surfer, you will say
good night.
Damn, that took you a while. You okay?
I'm okay.
All right, then. Just want to make sure. All right. Talk to you later. Good night.
All right.